Coach, thanks for joining us. You're 1-0 in the Citrus Bowl presented by Overton's in its 71-year history. What a chapter you guys wrote today in the history of Notre Dame football. How does this rank as far as bowl wins?
Well, it was an exciting win. We were a little short-handed out there, and it's just, first of all, satisfying to win a bowl game against a great opponent in LSU, and to do it in the manner that we did, coming from behind, with young players out there that I think started on scout team, and just really proud of the effort of the entire group, offense, defense, and special teams. And so, anytime I've said this, to get to 10 wins out of the last, 2 out of the last 3 seasons, really a nice mark for our football team.
What can you say about this guy joining us and the depth to your team?
Well, we have great confidence in Ian. He hasn't played a lot of football, but we threw him right into the fire, and he leads a winning drive in a game that was on the line. And but he's got that ability, and it doesn't surprise us that he's able to do that. But Miles over here knows the story. We were in practice, and we knew that we were going to have to get a couple of one-on-one matchups on the outside. And I told Miles, I said, Miles, you're going to win the MVP trophy. And he looked at me like I had 2 heads. But I felt like he had a chance. He's got the ability if we could get him the football. And Ian got him the football, and Miles made a great individual play. And lo and behold, we got the MVP sitting next to me.
If I could just ask the players a quick question, Miles, just that catch will go down in the history books when we think about the great plays in the history of Notre Dame football. Your thoughts on what went through your mind after?
I mean, it was really almost just a blur, we talk about situations like this all the time, and it's not often that you get to be in one like this. And so it was just an extremely humbling moment for me just to be able to go out there and make a play to help my team win. I mean, we talk about, as a receiver, we're playmakers, and winning the 50-50 ball, we talk about that every day. And, during that moment, I had to make the play. Otherwise, I don't know how the outcome was going to be, but Ian gave me a great ball. The coaches gave a great play, and I was just able to make a play on it.
Thank you. And Ian, what did it mean to you to step in here the way you did and come off the depth chart and deliver what Coach needed?
It was an awesome opportunity. It's such a surreal moment, that last play with Miles. But, 10 wins, it feels great, but it's a great way to start off the new year. And I'm excited to start off this new year with the team, that I love. So.
Thank you very much. Let's open it up for questions. If you raise your hands, we've got one in the front right here.
Coach Kelly, obviously we saw, if anybody who was looking at the stat sheet going up to, we would have expected a run game to be huge, and then you came up big passing with the last big play here like we were talking about. But when it came to the passing attack, do you think when Mr. Book came in, that's what opened it up?
Well, Ian's extremely accurate as a passer. He's got, a really fine ability to locate the football. He throws strikes, and that's the strength that he has. He's also, I think we saw, if you do not play him in the option game, he is extremely capable of pulling it and being effective in the run game. So, he's a quarterback at Notre Dame. And so there's high expectations, but we knew what he could give our football team. It's like anything else. He just needs, experience, and he got it today. He got a lot of reps in this, prelude to this game. Brandon was out for 2 practices with migraines, did not practice for 2 whole days. He got all the reps, so he was well prepared for this game.
Tim?
Coach, I asked you a couple days ago outside the stadium your perspective on coming out of a bowl game, ending the season with a win or loss, and you kind of downplayed it. I'm wondering what your perspective is at this moment as you head into the immediate postseason with your team.
I'd prefer to totally overplay it right now as one of the biggest wins in the history of Notre Dame. certainly, there's a couple of things in play here, right? Playing a lot of young players that went in and competed. We played with guys that were starters that we left home, and it just kind of, as I told our team, it's about traits. It's not about talent that's going to get it done here at Notre Dame. So what we're saying here is that, every single day, pay attention to what the traits are, and this football team can continue to win at a high level.
As you move forward, how would you depict your quarterback situation?
Well, I mean, we're very talented at the quarterback position. Ian showed today. Brandon showed that he's very capable of running. He had 30 touchdowns this year, 30 touchdowns. So we're just very deep at the quarterback position, and very fortunate that we have him.
Definitive starting quarterback at this moment moving forward?
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready to get into all of those things. I mean, we just won a football game, and then we'll make all those decisions later.
Over here, please.
Hey, Brian. Now that you've won on New Year's Day, won 10 games, what does success look like next year?
Well, every year our mission is to play for a national championship. But we've built this to continue that process and work towards being one of those 4 teams that is part of the playoffs. But as I was reminded yesterday, we hadn't won a New Year's game in like 752 years. So we've done that. We've won a close game. So we've done that. So there's strides that you make as you're building yourself towards being a playoff team. And today was a nice stride towards that.
Just one quick follow-up. Do you plan on doing one-on-one meetings with your players as you did last year?
Yes.
Manuel.
Manuel De Leon with theskyboat.com. Question for you, Ian. It wasn't a lot of action until the fourth quarter. You being a quarterback, what was the mindset of the team going into that fourth quarter, and what specifically did you say in the huddle to your team?
Just to stay composed, It was a close game. We knew it was going to be a close game. LSU is a great team, but we just had to stay composed and, do what we've been doing, since January. So, the team did a great job at that, and we came out on top.
Coach, what was the deciding factor that went into making the change at quarterback today?
Well, we went in with the idea of both of them playing, so that this wasn't a surprise to Ian. Ian was prepared. Brandon knew as well that both of them were going to play. That was the game plan going in.
Over here.
Coach, we saw Ian the other day zip-lining 2 days before this game. Does he just have something about him that an innate ability about him that makes him able to do what he did today?
Well, he's, I think as the quarterback, he really, as I mentioned earlier before, is extremely accurate in throwing the football. We took advantage of what his strengths are. We ran a lot of boots. He likes to get on the move, the play action. We established much more of a running game than we did with Brandon. So we really just tried to fit it to the strengths that Ian has right now. Again, he's a freshman. He's a redshirt freshman. So he's going to learn more within our offense. And we probably won't let him zip line as much. I didn't know he zip lined before the game.
Ian, obviously you've had some opportunities this year, but to be on this stage and to lead your team to victory, can you put in perspective what's going through your body right now?
Not really. It was so surreal. There's really no way to describe it, but I couldn't ask for anything more. It's just the best way to start this new year. Definitely with the people that I want to start it with.
A couple of more questions, George.
Yeah, Coach. Obviously, this is all fresh to process now, but the struggles of last year, you come away now with 10 victories, a victory on New Year's Day. Kind of try to put it all a little bit in perspective, if you can.
Well, great leadership from our seniors. It starts with obviously having a clear mission in terms of what we want to accomplish, and we redefined what it means to be a Notre Dame football player. And effectively, our guys now know what that means. Play for championships, graduate our players, work on traits of excellence on a day-to-day basis, work on their total preparation so they know what it means to be a Notre Dame football player. And they went out and they they showed that this year. To go from 4 to 10, we've really established a great foundation to build off of.
Brian, right here. We saw that Niles was not a captain today. Can you comment on why that was?
Just an internal decision that I made.
And then Miles, obviously with the catch, I mean, stabbing a hand up with the way that you did, I mean, is that just an instinctive thing? I mean, how does that play, I guess, turn out the way that it does as far as you being able to just stick a hand up and snare the ball like that?
No, I mean, Ian put it in a place where only I could reach it. And I mean, it was, like I said, it was a great pass. And I was just lucky enough to pull it down with one hand. I mean, I got pretty big hands, so.
He does it quite a bit. I mean, one of the things that was really important in this game was to get him the ball in a position where their defensive backs were outstanding, that they couldn't make a play on the ball. And so, you know, it may look like a top 10 play, and it was, obviously, but that's something that he and Ian and Brandon work on, and it was successful today.
We'll wrap it up with a couple more in the front row right here.
There's one back there, too.
Okay, we'll get one there. Go ahead.
Brian, you said special teams was good.
Yeah.
Kept you up late at night going into this. First half, you had plenty of opportunities and couldn't capitalize. Just feel fortunate to get the win.
Yeah, we didn't finish drives early in the game, but we flipped field position, if you remember, in the first quarter with a great punt. And Justin Yoon was outstanding today. He kept us from getting, you know, from LSU separating from us. So, you know, the kicking game was outstanding. We were really nervous about their punt return game. I thought our special teams were on point, other than the mistake that we made on the punt, which set up a touchdown for us. We just have to be more aware, you know, in that situation. But our kickers were really solid today. And when you play a game like this, where it's going to be close and it's going to be a low-scoring game, they have to impact the game. And I would say that both those kids made their mark.
Austin.
Miles, Coach said when he told you he thought you were going to be the MVP, you kind of looked at him with two heads a little bit. Can you recount your conversation with him and what you thought when he told you that?
Yeah, we were warming up, actually. We were just stretching, and then I ran past him. He said, "Miles, you're going to win MVP," and I was just kind of like, oh, all right. I mean, that's a good way to start off practice. But then as the game plan got closer and closer and closer, you know, I saw that I had opportunities to make big plays and big moments. And when that day came, you know, I really had a dream about winning MVP. But, I mean, when that day came today, I just had to make plays. And like I said, they put me in great positions to make plays. I couldn't have asked for, you know, a better game plan and a better, you know, just overall outcome of this game.
In the back here.
Coach, you talked about finishing off drives offensively. They had some struggles too. You guys had two huge goal line stands. Can you just talk about the play of not just your front four, but your linebackers seemed to be extremely productive today?
Yeah, you know, we fought for every inch. Geis is a heck of a back. Their offensive line is outstanding. But we fought for every inch, and quite frankly, it became a game of inches down there where we were able to hold them to the field goals. And that was the difference in the game. And it's a mentality that we've developed within our football program. It's a mentality that we lacked, quite frankly, last year, that we didn't fight for every inch. And playing the kind of schedule we did this year with 11 bowl teams, you know, you have to fight for everything. And I think our kids developed that toughness and that mindset. And today it was absolutely necessary against LSU.
It took your offense a while to get going, but your defense kept making stops, keeping you in the game. Just talk about, if you could, just the play of your defense today to really keep LSU in check. Again,
I will say that the most important thing for us was getting lined up and making the appropriate checks, because they're so difficult to defend. And, you know, yeah, they had a couple plays here or there. I mean, I think what we were most frustrated is that we didn't play the ball again the way we want to down the field. I mean, Eddie made some great throws off balance down the field where on third down they stay on the field, but our front seven played really solid today. Didn't give up any, you know, big plays in the run game. Inability in certain third down situations to get off the field where we got to make some plays in the passing game. But really solid effort today. Coney was outstanding. He was all over the field. One of the best games that we've seen him play for us.
Front row left.
Ian, I was curious, bouncing back from the pick in the third quarter, how quickly did you flush that? What did you have to do to sort of get over that to get back into a good rhythm?
Yeah, we talked about before the game, and we talk about it every week. There's going to be highs and there's going to be lows, and part of playing the quarterback position is being able to move on to the next play. So I messed up, made a mistake, and immediately sat down with Coach Reese, Coach Kelly, and had to move on to the next play, and we still had a bunch of football left to play.
Brian, what do you need to see from him when you're talking to him on the sideline? Like, okay, he's fine to go back in.
He knew. I mean, we try to talk more about his footwork, and if he stays in good rhythm and lets his feet take him through his progression, he's going to get the ball out to the right receiver. He held on to the ball a little late, threw it late on the sprint out, and he knew right away. So when you get that connection and click that I know I got to throw that ball into the fifth row, you're ready to move on past that after I yell at him a little bit, of course. And just so I feel better. And then, but he knew that, so it was an immediate connection where you can look at him, he says, all right, I got it, let's move on, and comes back with a great drive.
Right here.
Congratulations, guys. Coach, Notre Dame is expected to be represented very well in the upcoming NFL draft. How do you handle that as a coach, knowing that you could be losing a large crop of your team, especially two guys that are projected to be two of the top 10 picks?
Yeah, so if we have each year a group of players, we do our due diligence as well. Those that we think that certainly the first thing we want to make sure is that they get their degree from Notre Dame. That's why they're coming to Notre Dame. The left tackle and the left guard will have their degree from Notre Dame, and we hope that they're first rounders. We're going to obviously do everything to help them move on from Notre Dame. And then we want to get evaluations for all those others that are considering whether they should stay in school or move on. So we've got the appropriate NFL evaluations, and then we try to get them as much information. And then we try to recruit them as well as to why we think they should stay or go in some instances. So that's part of that December, as well as recruiting, as well as bowl preparation. So there's a lot going on during that period of time.
Coach, Miles, Ian, thank you.
Thank you.